Right now, guys, there is a wonderful conversation happening at 4:30 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning about the Palantir thing. So that's the first thing that we're going to dive into today. That's not up to me. That's the community has spoken because they are already diving in this and breaking it down. All right, guys. I am live now. You're not audible yet. I can make you audible, but I figured if I'm gonna have a conversation with Palantir, I might as well do it while I am live. Well, the cussing's fine. I'm just making you guys aware because occasionally we tangent into something that may not necessarily be DMCA approved. I know how Hitch loves to sing karaoke on those tunes. He's got a voice of an angel. Let me tell you, folks.
Thanks, man.
Okay, 4 in the morning. Here we go. 4 in the morning, and Blader is already here, ready to go. Okay, you guys hurt me. Okay, so what are we looking at here?
You throwing shade at my singing? I fucking fight you, bro.
Not at all. It was a genuine compliment, and I'm sorry that you took it any other way.
We all know I have a terrible singing voice.
We all know what I mean when I say sorry. All right, what do we got here? How about that debate last night, ladies and gentlemen? Wasn't that entertaining? I always love to watch Rock'em Sock'em Robots when they're 80. I thought it was wonderfully
there was a point in
entertaining.
time where I legit thought Joe Biden was gonna walk over and fucking punch Trump when he was talking about his son. It was fucking insane.
Dude
That
was
was by
him.
far the most dysfunctional debate I've ever seen in my life.
You want an update of what happened on the debate last night? Nothing of relevance. All Trump needed to do last night was pull Biden down to his level, and it happened. It was an absolute train wreck, and I went to bed early.
Oh, Millennial, I went into full fucking bunker mode after the debate. I think you left.
Tin hat, and like we're done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm super tin hatting for November.
It's funny because for months it's been like I want off. I'm done. Who won the debate? Canada.
Canada. Do you know that the number one most trending term when you search moving is moving to Canada?
Yeah, unfortunately, what they're realizing is that we have a merit-based immigration policy, so you can't just come north like a lot of Americans think. Like, oh, we're just going to Canada. When you get here, they go, yeah, great, what can you do? Oh, nothing? Then back you go.
That's a
2 engineering degrees, British passport, decent amount of money.
That's a fucking lie, bro. I'll immigrate to China and then I'll buy Canadian property like a good fucking China person, and then I'll come into Canada.
Oh my god.
So we are live here, folks. Welcome to 4 a.m. Now, to be fair, that's not wrong. There was a large amount of Chinese ownership in Canadian real estate. There is an extremely disproportionate amount of Chinese ownership of real estate in the West Coast. So he is from California. He's not incorrect. He knows all about that living in California, about Chinese ownership of property. Just to clarify that statement.
I do have to know what I'm talking about with that. We had a long discussion about.
Yeah, it's not wrong
about that.
You are accurate. We just don't talk about it. Okay, so I'm scanning this as quickly as possible just to get caught up on what we're talking about here. I'm not seeing anything that's really blowing my socks off. You guys sounded really excited when I got on. I was like, this is going to be awesome.
I'm not excited about this.
Well, yeah, that was the fun. Is that you weren't excited, but I could definitely hear Exiled and Martini were excited about this. It is official, ladies and gentlemen. I am now better than 120,000 professionals. We almost broke that 50,000 mark. If space can just go a little bit more, we're there. And then I'll be a real boy. I'll join your ranks, Hitch. I'll be a real boy.
Yeah.
All them fancy.
Oh, look at that.
Folk.
Virgin Galactic is your second biggest. Holy shit. Look at that.
Sir.
Look at you go. All by yourself. You're great. Wait, you're actually doing really well.
Yeah. It just has to hold up. I can't have it fall out on me. This is always the part that makes me so just ugh. But these IPOs is the things that might go wrong. Seasonality. If it's September or the third Thursday of every month, we might not sell anything. If a black cat crosses our path on a Wednesday, the whole thing will burn to the ground. Like, if you guys have never read one of these IPOs, they'll give you their financials ish. They'll give you a general overview of what they do, and then there's always this section of inherent risks that they have to claim so that they don't get sued after the fact. And man, let me tell you, some of them are just. Nicholas was a doozy. So far on this one, it looks. I mean, some of them are redundant. If we fail to manage future growth effectively, our business could be harmed. Really?
No, this is the longest risk. I mean, what is it? 100 pages of risk?
Yeah, this is fucking huge.
This is the Bible of risk.
This is.
Yeah.
This
if we're
absurd.
unable to hire, they didn't even spell it right. Oh, retain. No, they did spell it right, and I'm 4:30 in the morning. Retain. They mean retrain. What are they talking about? This is Palantir, guys. So this is IPOing today. Is that right?
Yeah, today.
Yep.
Today. Okay. Because IPOs are the thing, and that's what we do now, unless there's a SPAC, and then we all hop on that. And if there's no SPAC, we'll grab some EV. There's no EV, there's always a good pot stock kicking around, and this is the market, people. This is the market.
What have we become?
I had a rep from JP Morgan's retail trading department reach out to me last night on LinkedIn, so that should be a fun conversation this morning.
Ooh, how did that go? What do you want to talk about?
She connected. Nice assumption there. Way to assume the gender. No, she reached out right before the debate, and so I was like, great to connect. Love to talk. Debate's on. DD must be done. Bye.
Did you check her out on tip ranks yet?
I didn't. Oh, that's a good idea.
If she has a tip ranks, I'll be fucking amazed.
Really?
I will actually be shocked. Yeah, no way JP Morgan's gonna let someone on there.
Oh, they've got them on there.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, millennials outperforming a bunch of them.
Looking them up for ages.
Dude, go and look up Paul Costa.
There's no way JP Morgan locals are on there. If it's like a fucking no way.
Let me see.
Serious?
Let me see.
That's disgusting.
No, not on there.
It's really bad. It's really bad. It's like.
Oh. Well, that's not right.
I understand if JP Morgan is like the company you use to hold your assets under, and I get that. But a fucking analyst at JP Morgan is beyond this. That's insane.
I mean, there's a lot on here.
Really?
Piper Sandler, Oppenheimer, RBC.
Jeffries is on here.
All the sell side analysts for sure.
Barclays.
Lol.
Wow. Look at this guy. Buy on Citigroup, idiot. Okay, buy on
Morgan Stanley. Douchebag.
Is this the hour where we get real as fuck?
Yeah, I woke up just for this. Come on.
Pre-market savagery.
Yeah, this is exactly what this always should have been. You want to make 4 a.m. entertaining, this is how you do it. Yeah, no, I would say there's probably they're not good at what they do, so that's why they're not on the top 25 here. But I imagine like Wells Fargo, everybody's here. Merrill Lynch, the whole gang.
What a lovely bunch.
Yeah, there, JP Morgan, Brian Ossenbeck, JP Morgan.
Yeah, Paul Costa, infamous for his bit of a joke, really, in it at the Nikola investors call. And yeah, if you look him up, actually bona fide terrible.
I wonder if I'm beating him.
Where Guggenheim at?
Yeah, you're dumbing on him, if I remember right.
Yeah. That's
to
right.
be entirely fair, though, I do appreciate his extra level of shade.
That just comes with the nationality.
I mean, just legendary shade. Okay, we have to mention his legendary shade abilities.
For everybody that was on that call, guys, I don't know if you all listened, but he flat out dropped the line. Well, it's better if Exiled says it because it's actually being like the accent. So
yeah, it's a bit of a joke, really, isn't it?
That's the insight he offered Nikola when they described their financials and their guidance moving forward. Like, if you've never been on an earnings call, that's not the kind of the question you're allowed to ask. There's a certain decorum. And when you do that, you turn it into a Trump debate. And things go badly really quickly.
Well, I'm pretty sure he couldn't hold his shit together when he saw that the only revenue that they had was putting solar panels on Trevor Milton's house.
And swag.
It was such a shit.
He was snickering leading into that statement. Snickering on an investor's call.
Dude, that earnings call was such a...
I had a good time.
It might have been my favorite professional moment in history.
The only other earnings call I've enjoyed nearly as much this year has been watching Netflix with Rita, and the whole time they're like, "Be serious, try to break it down." And these three guys from Netflix are just sitting there with a shit-eating grin through the entire earnings call, and I couldn't take it. I don't know if it was the day or what, but like, if you've worked in marketing and you see those grins, you know that you are being fed a steaming pile of bullshit because the wizard behind the curtain is pulling some strings. And to watch it and for people to be like, Netflix, give me more of those Cheerios. Yummy, yummy. And it's like, those are bullshit Cheerios right there. That's what that is.
Yeah.
You'll take your medicine and you'll like it.
By far the best earnings call this year has been Nike's Q2.
I've never been so angry getting off a conference call, dude. Yeah, I knew you were gonna call it out, but man. So about all of the excess inventory that you guys are currently holding globally, I don't see that here on your liabilities. No, that's actually an asset. We plan to use that as NBA flavored toilet paper in the future. People will just wipe their butts with these jerseys that belong to players that are no longer in that city. Like
Nike's entire Q2 is that because they weren't able to sell, they were also not able to produce, and therefore they get to hold those as assets and not liability. That was their entire fucking stance. It was fucking beautiful.
Beautiful desecration to everything that mankind is. I mean, yeah, one of those. I just, there are very few earning calls that I get on that I actually enjoy. One that I did enjoy was the BlackBerry one because Chen is absolutely like socially incapable. The man speaks monotone about everything. There's no excitement in his voice whatsoever. He gets on, he's like, yeah, we made $30 million more than everybody thought we would, and we're going to make more money. And that's kind of what we've got for you today. Is that good? Awkward questions from the analyst? No? Okay, cool. We're done here, folks. I'm like, yes, thank you. That's all I wanted in an earnings call. Yes, we made money. We plan to make more. Any other questions? No? Okay, good. Bye.
The shortest earnings calls ever.
Yeah, this is, I feel like they're setting a bear trap to jump in for themselves here. there are a lot of, like, if the U.S. government breathes in our direction at some point, if we agree with the current administration and a new administration comes along and no longer likes us, our whole business is gone. We may be subject to intellectual property right claims, which are extremely costly to defend and will significantly damage your attendees.
But I like tendies.
What page are you guys on?
I'm on 86, but the thing in I want you to read, I think, or at least let me tell you, is about the mission statement. So what I found really interesting in the mission statement is like how anti-Silicon Valley this company is. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just dripping with
Shade?
yeah.
Yeah,
Not
they
even,
seem,
just straight calling it out.
yeah, they're extremely anti-Silicon Valley.
I wonder why that is.
Hey,
Doesn't
I
everybody
hate to
love
dip
unicorn
out.
status?
What?
Everybody
Wow.
loves a unicorn from Silicon Valley, don't they? How's WeWork doing?
Don't fucking raise. I'm trying to go to sleep here. Don't raise my blood pressure. You can't say those things.
SoftBank?
It's coming
Anyone?
back.
It's coming back. WeWork's coming back right now.
Okay. Hey,
it's a good
some
investment
of us
now.
actually have to sleep though. I don't know how you guys do this, but I need more than 2 hours to sleep at night. So I'm gonna call it and then be back in the morning.
All right.
All right, we'll
Alrighty.
ping you if you find anything interesting.
Oh my god, please don't.
Take care.
Have a good one, Hitch.
The joke is that they ping me at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wake up.
I did it once. Don't play.
Literally all the
These are not
time.
alternative facts, okay? I did it once. I'm sorry.
All Rita's doing is pinging every 10 seconds. Are you up? Are you up? Hey, Hitch, are you awake? Hitch.
Literally
Hitch!
2 a.m. Are you up? Yeah, great.
Martini, if you send me a ping at 2 a.m., I will not answer you.
Same
I didn't
here.
ping you until I saw your tweet. I saw your tweet go out and I was like, oh, he's awake. Let's
Okay.
ping him.
All right. Anyways, I gotta call it.
Okay,
So
do it.
we'll
Do
see
it.
you guys
Be a
tomorrow.
real boy. Go.
Later.
Later, Hitch.
Later, Hitch.
So Rita, there are 120,000 professional analysts out there with fancy schmancy degrees working at institutions that are losing.
Weird. It's like listening to sell side analysts or like listening to rating agencies back in 2008. It's like, it's like there's this big giant incentive to rate companies favorably.
Yeah, I can't wait until I start writing articles on Seeking Alpha and they show up on there and it's like, Millennial thinks that company is dog shit. I know that there's 12 other people that are big fans of it. Morning, everybody that's showing up. We are breaking down Palantir right now. We've got a couple of people on the mic. Martini, Rita, you guys are familiar with her, I am sure. Exiled, you may not be as familiar with, but the guy's wicked smart. So these two people are actually what educate me throughout the day on what I need to know and what I need to be looking at in many respects. We will break down the debate later, guys. I don't know how deep we're going to dive because it's like the debate was about as deep as a kiddie pool. So we probably won't be going. I mean,
sorry.
We'll go as deep as we can go. I'm not sorry about that one. I'm not saying sorry.
No, I'm saying sorry because I was laughing.
The only person of any merit, class, or character last night on the debate was the moderator trying to keep some level of sanity on that thing. That man deserves a medal or a commendation for his efforts. I cannot wait to see the CNN one. If that's how Trump is going to listen to Fox, CNN is going to be a joke.
Oh, it was, I don't know. Okay, so did you see the futures reaction though?
No, I didn't. That'll be next. That'll be when I break down the debate here. But I'm looking at the revenue growth on this right now. I think we're
Okay.
caught up. I think I'm on 88. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not a bad revenue curve. That exponential growth is not going to continue.
No.
I would say they max at around $1 billion, which isn't terrible.
For what, this year? Or for
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. This year,
coming year?
this candle that we're looking at here. Depending on what they get as far as major institutions. See, that's just it. Like this is a big red flag for me here. That we have built lasting and significant customer relationships with some of the world's leading governments, institutions, and companies. That changes overnight, guys. That changes in like a heartbeat. Some guy shows up at a meeting somewhere in a dark alley, buys a guy a champagne room, and the whole thing changes, right? So this is, yeah. If that's
Yeah. It's approximately like 50 to 60% of their contracts comes from governments, CIA, FBI, ICA. If you lose over half of your customers overnight, let's say, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. So you have to stay in the
So,
U.S. good graces by any means necessary, and they know that. So if anybody shows up and says, "Well, we do kind of what they do, but we'll pay you more, or we'll charge you less,"
right.
that's a little
And
scary.
also
Well,
another deal is that depending on the election outcome in 2020, Joe Biden with this Pantonic company, they had some controversies with them working with ICE. He might shut down the relationship between Pantonic and ICE, or just in general the entire U.S. government, and you lose like
that's
half
okay.
of your customers by doing that. So
Yeah, first Biden has to
You
get the
mean
authority to
Palantir?
do that. And what I saw last night was that's not happening. So
yeah, it's not going to happen, but it's theoretically possible. But I highly doubt it.
average revenue of the top 20. Okay, so they're not claiming that they help their top 20 customers grow their revenue. They're just saying here is the revenue of our top 20 customers.
Right.
Okay.
So the one thing that I think you need to realize is this: I don't think they can move from Palantir very quickly because there was a court case where they sued the U.S. Army, and the judge basically mandated.
Welcome back, guys. We are breaking down Palantir at the moment.
So I don't think that this is a thing where they can go away from it in any time. At least from the DoD side, they can move away from Palantir soon.
Did Palantir come up with this model on their own, or was it designed to spec for DoD?
This model. What do you mean?
Did Palantir's? So I assume it's like an in-depth software suite. That's what they're selling, right?
Right. Very customized to the purpose and customer.
So is it glorified SaaS?
No.
It's a lot like data miner.
Well, data miner
I
is
would
SaaS.
describe it as data miner for field actions. Like let's connect all the information sources we have, and let's predict what we think.
Oh, it's predictive.
The Gotham product.
It doesn't just accumulate data; it predicts it. It correlates the data to make a predictive analysis.
So there's several products, right?
Okay.
So it's hard to describe because there's several. Okay, so there's Gotham, there's Foundry, there's what were the two other ones? The SaaS product and the X-Side, or you want to make?
Yeah, they have Apollo, which is the SaaS version of their product. But but so they have Foundry, which is so Foundry and Gotham. One's geared towards financial services intelligence and monitoring. The other is dated towards government and infrastructure, DoD, law enforcement, and then other government agencies like ICE and paramedics, fire, you name it.
That is a lot of secure data.
Colossal, and also it is aggregating their own data. They aggregate their own, but they also they can drag in commercial data sources from any of the big names, Reuters, and whether it's news, finance, social media, you name it, they can grab that and aggregate that too, and predict based on real-time current events and historical trend. So there's a huge amount of analysis there as well, and makes very informed decisions. It's a software that they use to catch bin Laden.
Interesting. I mean, from a user perspective, I love it. I would love to use it. I would love to see. I would love to go up against the machine. Like, I would like to Bobby Fischer this thing where it's like, oh, you think this is going to happen? Well, I think this is going to happen. See millennials, right? But as far as like the liability that not that it could carry, that this does carry, all of those departments, like if anybody hacks anything in this, that could be hugely compromising. That could be the end of it, right? If you have a single aspect, even if it's one of the smaller departments, let's say it's something like ICE, right? Where it's not, I mean, should you be leaking data from ICE? Probably not. But in the grand scheme of things, it's probably better than the CIA information being leaked, right? But if any of those government agencies, any of their data is leaked in any way, hacked and leaked, they're going to lose this entire branch of their business. As an investor, that makes me very, very wary. That is a lot of risk. It's not like Sony or Netflix, like, oops, we gave people your credit card information and email. Sorry about that. This is like government data on internal operations.
I think if you go into this thing, you have to just accept that you're not going to even know whether they're good at it or if the risk is less or more, because this thing is a total black box. I mean, I can just tell from reading it. We don't really know a ton because they're not going to tell you a ton because secrecy is their business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just being I'm being like I'm being critical as much as I need to be, where it's like, if I was going to put money in this, that is a large red flag. If someone was coming and say, what do you think of Palantir? It would be, there is a large inherent risk that their entire business structure could collapse on a single hack. That's just something you have to be aware of. I'm not saying I don't like the revenue growth. That looks sexy. Their clients are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which makes sense given it's the U.S. government that is their client. I would love to see a client list.
Oh, they
Who are
have
those
it
top
in
20
here.
clients?
They do have a client list. But I believe one of the biggest private clients is Airbus, Fiat, Chrysler, and PB Oil. I think those are the three biggest private clients.
Petrobras, and then 2 European companies. So South America and Europe. Weird.
So they made it very clear inside the S1 that they are only going to work with US and US allies. They basically point the finger at other defense contractors and say they work with the adversaries, we don't.
Wow.
I'm not.
So they're
not that great with defense, so I haven't.
Don't worry, we're xenophobic. Invest in us.
Well, I mean, that's a feature, not a bug for the U.S. government. I mean, it's
right.
That's
US
true.
Face.
That's a true thing.
I mean, I'm not. I'm not deciding on it. I'm just saying it
Yeah.
is what it is.
It's just funny to me. Selling point, we don't like countries you don't like.
Yeah.
And again, that shifts very quickly. Who was once an ally could very quickly not be an ally, in which case does Palantir just drop them? On pissing off
Yes.
Trump, your contract is now in cessation. Sorry, Germany.
Yes. See ya. So one of the key risks, and it's absolutely that if the customer doesn't fit with the mission statement, gone and/or won't look to that customer to buy my product, right?
So this shuts them out of the Asian market entirely then. They won't go anywhere near China.
Yeah, no, they won't go anywhere near China.
So that's a lot of money.
They are openly anti-China.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And Russia, which is a lot of money.
Surveillance product, which would be very much, what they, tend to do. So my thing is that with the current climate and my belief that the pendulum is going to swing towards more authoritative kind of products and themes, I think it might be a good idea to invest, in my opinion. Disclaimer. But the election is coming up, and so.
Well, that was making me even more like, because this means that currently Palantir is an ally to the Trump administration.
Right.
So I'm like 90-10 Trump on this upcoming election. But that 10 is a factor you got to factor in. And in the event Biden walks in the door and goes, "Oh, you were a Trump ally?"
Worth remembering, they've been around since 2004, though, and have had.
Okay.
They were CIA backed and have procured large contracts under the Obama administration.
Hey, how's it going?
Also, they just landed another $111 million contract yesterday.
Okay. That makes me a little less wary that they've been around through the Obama administration as well. Okay, so that's not as bad.
Right.
I think there's a really cool. I think there's something that's addressing your security issue on page 106. They do call out that the implementation of the software can be on premises, meaning there's not at least that added risk from being in the cloud.
Right, then the client's responsible.
Right.
Of course.
Not our fault. Your data was compromised. That's on you, CIA. Okay, so Palantir and the Army. This is of interest to me because military budgets are dropping at the end of this month, so that should be a cash injection for them right after an IPO. So that's worth noting.
Misuse. Sorry.
Misuse?
Misuse is also an issue. We found a instance where people go rogue within their organizations, like use it to surveil their own organizations.
By their own organizations, do you mean their ex-wife?
I mean, this stuff is creepy, millennial. Like
Big Brother. I get it.
Text, your location data, everything.
Yeah.
Like,
if you guys haven't read 1984, it's a great book. And we're there.
Yeah. 1984. Brave New World.
Brave New World's a little bit more dystopian. We're not quite there yet, but 1984 for sure. Where you've got
1984.
You've got the three countries, and that's all you've got. You have Asia, Europe, and America, and that's where we live. And everybody in the government knows everything about you. Whether anybody that has the misconception of privacy,
Right. I mean, Yeah, I mean, even if you commit murder, you might be. There's a 66% chance that you're gonna get caught. So.
I mean, forget murder. You take a deuce, and the government knows you're in there and which toilet paper you're using. Like,
Yeah, they can find that out by your debit card purchases.
yeah.
Your cell phone location data. Yeah, they can find out pretty quickly.
This goes way beyond that kind of stuff. So have Exiled explain to you like an example of what it does.
I found
that we
why
know
you're
of.
hot on it. Now I know it all makes sense. Well, no point doing DD anymore on this. Peter Thiel's attached, ladies and gentlemen. Just put your money in it. You'll be fine. Disclaimer: that's not financial advice. That is degenerate trading. Peter Thiel's just one of the Tendy gang that we enjoy and love.
PayPal Mafia.
If you're going to be a part of a mafia, PayPal's the one to be a part of. Wow. Why didn't you guys lead with Peter Thiel? It would have saved me a lot of time.
Because opinion. I don't want to. That's your investor bias. Check your investor bias.
I don't have investor bias.
Wow.
Everyone is biased to a certain
Switzerland.
degree.
No, I'm Switzerland. I'm where people come to lose their bias and drink beer and be 6 feet tall and blonde. That's who I am. I'm the Switzerland of the market. I'm willing to look at GameStop as proudly as I am Netflix. That's how degenerate I am.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty degenerate. But everyone is still biased.
That sounds like
even
a
to a small degree.
Mind blown.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I misspoken. Everyone is biased to the smallest of the degree. There you go.
I'm just joshing you, man. Actually, I don't know. Your voice isn't familiar. Are you a 4 a.m. only? I don't know that we've met, Dark Love.
No, I don't believe we have.
Well, congratulations. You're on stream on the very first time meeting. Hooray.
I'm a little sleepy. I'm like, it's 3 a.m.
I mean, you get bonus points. You get bonus points for that.
Yeah. I'm not into the stock market game. You guys are. I'm in the real estate game.
One of them, huh?
So you're part of a new exceptional group. Cool.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, man. I'm exceptional too.
Love dark.
I'm starting to think it's a derogatory statement.
Today, Junior.
Yay. Latino knows more English than millennial.
We are a French-speaking nation, sir.
Quebec.
Would you like to hear some French? I'm pretty sure it would put me in violation of some Twitch terms, but
Comment allez-vous?
Let's just say there's something about a Truon coup that is not flattering.
Comment allez-vous?
So there's some red flags that I always see, which is high executive pay, right? I think as of the IPO, each one of the founders is set to make 250 million.
Yeah,
off of just the IPO.
Yeah, this is the one that has me putting up some flags, is going through the amount of shares and common stock and warrants and all that they're looking to have the ability to throw out there.
Oh yeah, why don't you go through the growth units? A term that I have never seen before, which you can't even find it in Investopedia, by the way.
But if you want to know the answer, you have to ping Hitch.
Okay, hold on. Let me figure this out. So a growth unit is additional shares distributed to the market in the event of it striking a certain point.
And other terms, there's other terms there.
That would be my guess. That's my uneducated high school dropout guess as to what
I
a
thought you were
growth unit
literally
is.
looking at it because that's one of the things.
No,
Oh,
that
really?
yeah, no, that's my uneducated guess. I'm just reading the section here. I've highlighted it, but that would be my guess as to what a growth unit is. It would be for I would say number of shareholders, price target.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that important based on what Hitch sees is that it's just to ensure that the board stays the same through the IPO process.
Yeah, it's to incentivize the board to deliver on what's been outlined here, and I get that. My issue is that it's just another 3.5 million shares that is tied to that. So, there's a lot of shares here, and there's a lot of options here.
No.
Yeah.
No, millennial, it's not that much.
It's not that much.
I would hope that you can detect the sarcasm in my voice.
Speak to me as though you were speaking to Michael Burry. I don't understand sarcasm. 308 million options.
Basically, they waited till the final hour to amend even more shares into it.
Of course they did.
The final amended one, because if you go and look at Edgar, right, you can see that there's, I think, 4 amendments to it. So, and what's really tough about amendments for me is there's no highlight of what are the actual differences in the document. They just send the whole document again with the changes, right?
Yeah. Did you guys read this? The issuance of undesignated preferred stock. Our board of directors will have the authority without further action by our stockholders to issue shares of undesignated preferred stock with rights and preferences, including voting rights, designated from time to time by our board. So why that's important, guys, is they're saying we don't need your permission. We can just hand out preferred stock to whoever we want when we want. That's a big flag for me. I don't like that.
I don't think that. I think that means already authorized shares. You can't just create new shares without filing on the SEC. We can dole them out as we see fit later.
Right, which is why they've been so forthcoming with the amount of preferred shares that are currently available, right? And they can just hold on to that pool and not fully issue them all, and then whenever they want, drop a couple dozen million into the market.
For me, I think what they're saying that this is I mean, depending on how you view it, is that if it's a feature, not a bug, that they need stability in their board and management and vote the way the whole company is going to vote. I'm not sure why readily. It's a couple days of unpacking. The longest S1 I've ever read. So I don't know.
496 million shares are currently available.
Holy shit.
That's a few. That's a couple.
Excuse my language.
Yeah, I mean, so the good, Peter Thiel, and I'm a nut for data. I love data. More data. Give me all the data, especially interpretive predictive analysis of data through AI. I'm a big fan of that as a tool and as a consumer. Yes, I am a tool, and I also love using tools, and this is an amazing tool. The downside that I see to it is there's a lot of inherent risk on this, and that's still you've alleviated it slightly, but it's still there for me. And that a large part of their customer base is on the whims and pleasures of the U.S. government is. I mean,
I do believe that they are expanding to the United Kingdom, and other countries' governments. So,
but it's so long as they remain an ally of the U.S. The second that you're not an ally with the U.S., you're dropped. So the foundational client's the U.S. They're not going to drop the U.S. for the U.K.
Right. I think Martini mentioned this earlier. They said that they need to keep control of the company.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they keep control and like investors don't get control, because if investors get control and they're like, hey, let's get more money, let's go after the Asian market, then they're going to get into trouble with the US government and the European government. So I think the reason why they want to maintain control, the CEOs and the founders, and not allow greedy investors get any control, is to keep that foundation stable. Does that make sense? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
It makes sense, but that's exactly what happens during an IPO. Is now you are giving other people control. Like,
right.
And the Asian market is a large market.
Right, it is a large market. It's kind of like. No, I'm not going to use that analogy. It's not a good analogy. They want to become an IPO, but they want to maintain control. But the problem is that's very difficult to do, and I can see what they're trying to do based on what Martini is saying in their documents. Have a lot of shares and try and keep like a hold of the majority of shares, because if you have 51% of the shares, well, you have 100% of the control. So,
that's a nice bottle of whiskey. I can do that. Huge shout out to Exiled, keeping me well lubricated for the market's sake. That's awesome, buddy. Thank you.
So, more on your security thoughts. It's a 136, right? This may be the most preachy ass one I've ever read, right? But they do talk about some of their security there and the way they're going to manage it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm down in the letters now. I'm at F55, 6, 7. What do they want for this? What's the in? $80? $70? What's the per share price?
Supposedly it was priced at $9.80, which would give it a 21. Sorry, I think it was around, we calculated around 18 or 16 billion. But everything we've read is that it's coming out higher and it's going to be at a $21 billion valuation.
Yeah. So the day before their IPO, they announced that they receive a $100 million contract from the Army. And this is coming out at $9. Not a chance. If it comes out at $9, I will buy whatever I can get my hands on. Because it's going to 60, 70, 80, 90.
Price 16.
In my opinion.
I think it's going to exceed probably 80.
How's Snow doing?
Hilariously well.
Oh my goodness.
I can't.
And Unity?
Oh.
Even more hilariously well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Unity's $94. Unity's $94.
Yeah, it's a $25 billion company now.
How? If you're new to the stock market, guys, you may want to realize that the current valuations of the company are slightly askew from traditional valuations in that we have beaten our heads so hard against our desks, we have gone completely brain dead in how we value current IPOs of companies. People are so desperate for something good to happen that we are piling into companies like this. Expect there to be a large, long, drawn-out tail that is slowly sinking back to reality on a lot of these. It's fine when you're still the hot IPO, but when the next IPO comes, you're not the darling child anymore. I mean, I liked Unity at 60, 70, 90. Do they have revenue that no, I don't. This is why I don't trade tech. I just everybody knows a bio IPOs, you don't touch it because it's just going to go down. Like bio doesn't trade
Right.
IPOs. Unless somebody's like, yeah, we're IPOing and we've got the cure for cancer, HIV, and smallpox. Go.
Yeah, I think in tech IPOs and tech, the hype is the is the fuel to the engine.
And even worse, it seems like the emerging sectors like EV, they're going, well, we actually don't want you to see our numbers, so we can't IPO. But these SPACs provide us an excellent opportunity to be completely opaque in our filing, join the market anyway, and sucker y'all into thinking that we're a legitimate business. Not pointing fingers or anything, but Nicola. Did GM go through with that yesterday? Anybody know?
Allegedly.
Oh.
General Motors?
No, the deals got pushed back. They basically last houred them and said, we're going to have to think about this some more, which
Good.
effectively means it's dead.
Yeah, good. And therein, ladies and gentlemen, if you were holding on for the final death throes of Nicola, we're there. We're done. Okay, I've been live for 52 minutes. I need to hydrate. And our good buddies at Restream are going to keep you all company. As soon as I get that queued up, because I didn't realize we'd been talking for an hour already.
What I find interesting is that people think the delay of the GM deal means that it's not dead.
Nicola spiked for a second after the news because people had their fingers on the button. That's all that was. People had their fingers on the button for the moment the news dropped, and as soon as they saw the GM Nicola headline, they hit send. And it spiked, and then people opened up the article and went, oh crap, I'm out.
It's up 3% pre-market.
Goodness, okay. Nicola is what we will be breaking down when I get back. I thought we had sworn this off forever, but we have not. So I will come back and take a look at that, guys. Just 2 seconds here. This. All right, got my water here, guys. Huge shout out to Restream, and they make it possible for me to talk to all you fine folks everywhere on the internet. If you're not using it and you are a streamer, I highly recommend it. If you're just getting started in streaming, it's a heck of a lot easier than trying to learn OBS like I had to. It just makes everything super simple. I highly recommend Restream as a tool. Check it out. With that being said, let's get back to it here. Yeah, I'm not opposed to Palantir. I probably wouldn't touch it on a long-term basis, which is anything longer than 6 to 8 months, but on the IPO. There's money there.
What do you think about the thesis that as aren't you long DGLY?
I exited my position to get into space, but yes.
Do you think the theme of more policing spending is going to go up?
Yeah,
because
that's why
they use this in the LAPD. I have to do a survey of where else they use it, but we definitely read about how they use it there.
So for me it's different. I don't think a local police department is going to have the scope of how to use a tool like this. Maybe a larger one like the LAPD or NYPD, but I think for the majority of the cities in the U.S., this would be overkill. They wouldn't know what to do with this, not effectively anyway. And then it's just spending money for money's sake, where a lot of people are looking to cut back on police funding. Now, that being said, like the reason why I'm bullish on DGLY is because I think that regardless of whoever wins this election, I think that there's going to be a tide either way. I don't think we're going to see this split government where the House and Senate are split, which is going to result in the ability to pass legislation that regulates exactly that police forces must enforce this, and this, and they must do so wearing body cams, dashboard cams, using non-lethal enforcement. I think that's coming regardless of Republican or Democrat. I think Trump will add some caveats that you must police your cities. You can't opt to allow 200 plus days of rioting. Who won the debate?
No, there are no winners.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at BBC. I'm checking BBC's coverage, guys. Whenever you want to check for a more legitimate source on U.S. politics, go to the BBC, because they just sit back and enjoy the show like I do, and they don't really have a horse in this race. They've got their own problems to deal with. So, who won the debate? Let's see. Trump cut in on Biden a total of 73 times.
Oh my God, we're doing a scoreboard and who interrupted who how many times?
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're just talking about how important data is.
As Chris Wallace announced the coronavirus is the next topic, both candidates would have 2.5 uninterrupted minutes to answer. Biden quipped, "Good luck with that." Whoa. When Biden was asked about whether, as the self-professed leader of the Democratic Party, he had called on the mayor of Portland or the governor of Oregon to take steps to stop the unrest in that city, he demurred, saying he no longer held elective office. Wrong answer. Yeah, like I said, Trump just rallied on that point of you had 47 years in government The state of the US is not on me. It's on people like you that are lifetime politicians and got nothing done. I've been here for 4 years and accomplished more. I weeks before the elections. This is all that Trump had to hammer home. It's not, you're not a new face. You aren't Obama. You're not coming up from the ranks. You've been here for 5 decades and you're saying now you're going to get going? Like, too late, man. Oh, Trump got him to make some rather bold statements. I'm the Democratic Party, not Bernie. I missed that one. Anybody catch that one? That couldn't have gone over well. Oh, he came out and said he doesn't support the Green New Deal?
Yeah, I think that was a huge mistake.
What is he doing?
I think he alienated a lot of people, a ton of people like AOC, man.
What was he thinking?
Maybe thought it would appeal to moderates. I don't know. I'm not good at political theory. I think the important thing is to see that right when they shook hands, ES took a fat dump.
Yeah, but he supports his plan, which is oil. Biden, he dropped that last week. We cannot move away from oil.
So they both support EV credits, so I'm pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
I win both ways, so yay, Tesla.
Biden tried to drop his nuke, and apparently it just got muted by the bickering. He dropped the "you paid less in tax than school teachers," and Trump just talked over him. Yeah, Trump did it. He did what he needed to do. Biden needed to come out and he needed to stress on the points of inexperience in government, so he doesn't know how to actually get things done without there being ceaseless bickering, and he can point to the current divide. And Trump can say, well, we're going to win it all. Okay, well, that's up to the American people, not you. And right there, like, that's a mic drop. Politics is simple. You just have to think. And Biden's not thinking. He's still reading off a script. Did anybody get a fact check on that earpiece last night? Somebody said that Trump had made a request that he was to ask if he would be open to being checked for an earpiece free debate, and and Biden refused.
Yeah, they're false.
That's false. Okay. There was something that said they had a fact check on this. Later.
I believe NPR has a fact check, and they're pretty neutral.
Yeah, BBC's got one here. So Trump said we built the greatest economy in history. That's not right. There have been times in U.S. history when the economy was stronger. See, this is... Martine, what are your thoughts on evaluating economic growth by GDP?
I mean, it's a valid measure depending on what you're trying to get at. If you're trying to get on, benefit to people, I think it's the worst measure ever because GDP doesn't speak to anything about economic mobility or the distribution of wealth amongst its people, or access to resources, or all the things that are important in a political debate, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not like, yes, does GDP go up and usually things get better, right? But for who?
Okay, so GDP, they've got 6 charts here that they're evaluating Trump's economy on. So GDP is 1, and it's saying, well, back in the 50s there was higher GDP. True. After World War II there was greater GDP, but I think whoever's the president in the next little bit is going to see a massive spike in GDP. Stock market, you can't argue that we hit all-time highs during Trump. Unemployment hit all-time lows during Trump, with the exception of COVID, but everybody gets a pass on that, right? Like,
Right.
Venezuela, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate that. Wages wobble but continue to rise. So even wages are at an all-time high.
May I comment on those two?
Yeah.
So I think unemployment is not such a great, even though it's the Federal Reserve mandate to have low unemployment, and it's a thing that we all look at. I think, yeah, you can be employed, but you may have a job that doesn't really provide for you, right? So I think it's important to look at wages in terms of purchasing power, right?
Yeah, and that's what's here is
And
like they've got those 2 charts paired of the unemployment all-time lows during Trump and average wages all-time high.
right, average wages is not real wages, right? So it hasn't. You need to look at wages in terms of inflation and purchasing. Well, the inflation is
This is
purchasing
adjusted
power,
for
but
inflation.
if you, right, so yeah, and their inflation measure is pretty tough. Is I would say complete dog shit. If you look at real wages in terms of things that we all have to buy, and you can't take out healthcare, and you can't take out, as you know, healthcare in the United States is very expensive for us, right? And to remove that as part of, somehow we're not going to consider that as part of our wages, is ludicrous.
Poverty rates
And
at an
so
all-time low.
wages have not changed for the past 20 years.
Martini
I can go
is
on record and argue with fucking everyone that it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Everyone can
Martini.
go eat a big pile of dog shit.
Yes, wages has not grown very much, but the total overall compensation has increased. Like, you're now getting more health insurance coverage. You're now getting more retirement matching with your 401k. I could be mistaken about that. I've read that in a columnist paper before, that wages, yes, has not been rising, but the total compensation, like benefits, like
I don't know that
matching
to be true.
401k
I think
and
companies
health
are axing
insurance.
pensions.
Yes, they're axing pensions, but they're matching on 401k contributions.
All right, so economically, guys, looking at those charts, those 6 charts, poverty's at an all-time low, unemployment was at an all-time low, stock market was at an all-time high, GDP was not red, but not the highest it's ever been either. So when he made that claim, you guys can make your own assertions as to whether Trump has been good for the economy. I would say you have to give him the bone on that one. Was the economy pre-COVID better than it was under Obama? Absolutely. I don't know that there's anybody that would argue not well anyway against that. I think most people would concede that Trump is good. Trump has been good for the U.S. economy, especially the trade deals, and those I can't believe those didn't come up yesterday. If I was Trump, I'd be wearing those like a flag. The USMCA and the Chinese Phase 1 trade deal, the two of those were wins for the US in a huge way. We have 4% of the world's population, but 20% of the deaths, says Biden. It's roughly correct, but when you look at deaths per capita, there are a number of countries that are far worse than the US. Yeah, he had this. This was in his. This was in his utility belt. He had this one ready to go. Those stats off the top of his head for sure. He had somebody fact check these. Countries with the highest per capita deaths so far: Peru, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Spain, Ecuador, the UK, and then the US. Postal ballots increase will cause a fraud like you've never seen. Verdict: studies have not found evidence of widespread fraud, although there have been isolated cases. So, is that because the studies haven't been done on widespread fraud, or is it that we've only done studies on isolated cases?
So I need to finish Palantir DD, so I'm gonna go down to another channel.
No. I'll have it. I'll have it. You guys stay here. You're doing your thing. All right, guys. We are going to keep breaking down this election debate stuff. That was Martini, Rita, and Exiled, two highly venerated, well-respected members of the trading community on Twitch. I'm huge fans of them. They help be additional voices and balance for me in my head when I'm trading through it today. So huge fan of those guys. Super smart, know what they're talking about. A 100 million people in the U.S. have pre-existing conditions. So on the vaccine, Trump saying end of October. Fauci saying we'll know by November or December. Biden claimed that manufacturing went into a hole before coronavirus. The verdict: that's not true. Democratic candidate Joe Biden suggested that even before COVID, manufacturing went into a hole. Prior to the outbreak, President Trump had added almost 500,000 manufacturing jobs during his first 3 years in office. Trump said Biden once called African Americans super predators. That's not right. He did use the word predators, but not to refer to African Americans. Trump hasn't lowered drug prices for anyone. Average monthly cost of prescriptions. I mean, this is the Obama era, and here's Trump. I don't know, man. That looks like it's down. Even now, when it's bounced back up, like. All right, I mean, There's the fact check on it. This is going to be big. That he came out and said that he does not support the Green New Deal is going to be big. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the election? Did you watch the debate? What are your thoughts on it? Reading the news afterwards? Is there a winner? Is there ever a winner? Did either of them make an argument that is making you lean one way or the other? For me, I'm largely unchanged by what I saw there. I didn't see anything other than Biden saying that he's not Bernie, he's alienating the far left. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that the sentiment coming away from it is that Biden got slapped. Yeah, I agree. Chris Wallace did his absolute best in a terrible situation. It's going to be good news for Apple here. Where's that screenshot? I'd love to see that screenshot. Or I'd love to see the source. I can't go to Twitter for who won the debate. Twitter is an extremely left-leaning platform. Okay, who won the debate? Uh, yeah, so posted it on Discord. Where in the Discord? General. Can't find anything in this bloody Discord these days. Oh, am I in the wrong Discord? Martini. General. Yeah, I want a source on that. I mean, here's it. So he said BBC's conclusion was if it was a chaotic ending, it could hardly be called a debate. It's bad news for Trump if he was hoping to gain favor with suburban women because they often find his bearish attitude appalling. I'm not sure how they're asking for sentiment from suburban women, but there that is. Again, if Trump's goal was to turn this campaign into an ugly scrum, leaving voters alienated from the process and uncertain about whether there will be any kind of clarity or resolution at the end, it's an evening's work well done. I think that's exactly his aim heading into this. I think that was exactly it. Stir the pot, make people confused, make people frustrated, and make people completely at loss as to what's going on. For Biden to concede things like "I'm not part of the big green deal," my son being involved, all of that's a big deal. It's a big deal. Now, it will be interesting to see if Biden comes back next election and throws shade at Eric Trump or Ivanka. I do. I do. I think Biden needed to show himself as a composed, well-spoken person. One of the rules in the debate is if you're going to have somebody that's breaking the rules like that, if you're speaking and they cut you off, you stop talking. You go silent. You don't respond. You don't say a word, and you allow the other person to finish their interruption, and then you say, "Are you finished interrupting? Can I continue?" And you keep doing that. And if you keep doing that, it gets really monotonous and it really drags things out. But what the people realize afterwards is, man, that was bad. Like that, Trump just didn't shut up, and Biden stayed calm, cool, and collected. Instead, what happened is Biden got into this back and forth of trying to cut each other off. And then he went as far as to tell Trump to just shut up. And so it really looked like Trump was kind of twisting the blade a little bit. I don't know what I don't know if they did polls immediately after last night, but yeah, so that's it. Like that's what Trump needed to get him to do was to break his composure and join the mudslinging, and he did. He did. Now, did he come right out and throw shade like Trump did? No, but I mean, he did. He Trump got him to get in there. I would argue there have been far worse presidents in history, but that's to each their own. I'd take a Trump over a Clinton any day. Biden used that insult. Yeah, of course he did. My immediate response would be the Clintons weren't anything to write home about. And you guys tried to send them back to office. So my issue here, guys, is if I break this down, so we're on 538, guys. This is a collection of all the polls, and what I like about it is it doesn't just present the poll, it also presents a ranking on the quality of the polling that was done. So typically you'll see things that are inherently biased, like Rasmussen, which is typically a right-leaning one, and their polls often receive a very low ranking. Survey Monkey counts for nothing. They get a D- on theirs. Kind of, yeah. Politics is essentially a show that's put on for you publicly while the work is actually getting done and you're not aware of the steps that are being taken. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage people to, not necessarily with the debate last night, but when you are, whenever they dropped one of those stimulus packages, for example, I read the entire stimulus package. It's not even for my country. I read the US stimulus package. It was 1,800 pages of legalese, but actually reading that lets you know, outside of the headlines and the interviews and the sound bites, what actually is going on. Which is why when people are, ticked off that why don't you just spend $3 trillion more dollars? Tech Yang, thank you for the follow, man, much appreciated. When the Democrats are like, well, why don't you just spend $3 trillion? And the US people are saying, oh yeah, just do it, just do it, just do it. The Democrats are trying to help the small families and they're trying to help the little guy. When you actually read through that bill page by page, that's not what's happening. There was more money in there for pot than there was for low-income families and single moms. They weren't trying to do that. Trump didn't write the stimulus package. No, that's not his job. Yeah, no. His job isn't to create legislation; it's to approve legislation as the executive branch, right? So the House and the Senate write the legislation, approve it, vote on it from both houses, and then Trump enacts it into law. So he doesn't write the stimulus package. That would have been equity, largely equity. I do have a 5% holding that is in options, but otherwise I'm an equity trader. Typically 6 to 8 months, so not as much of a day trader as a swing trader. Not a long-term hold guy either, though. I don't have 5 to 10 year positions, so even if it goes through the House, guys. So, and this is another one that a lot of people are confused about, is they'll hear the press on $2.2 trillion bill out of the House. The reality is that even if the House approves a bill like that, it has to then go to the Senate, and the Senate will, having read it when it hits the House floor, will say whether or not it's dead on arrival. So, I don't think that we see another stimulus package. Unless they rush it post-election. So if we get a smooth transition of power, or there is no transition of power if Trump stays in office, either one of those two, if we're able to make that happen and the new office can get started immediately post-election, it is possible that we could see a stimulus before January. Now, that being said, in the event that Trump doesn't win and it's not a smooth transition of power, it's unlikely we'll see a stimulus. Do we even need another stimulus? That is another question. For me, that's largely based on the vaccine and the efficacy of it. Yeah, and there's a lot of that going on as well right now. California's having a hell of a time right now. Fire, power outage, really bad government, just not doing its job. So I mean, everything's in disarray there. I wouldn't be surprised actually to see more Republican presence out of California this time around. Because the reality is the people on the ground in California are aware that their frustrations, by and large, are with the Californian government. It's with California itself, and that has been Democrat for as long as anybody can remember. Housing crisis will be interesting when they lift the moratorium on mortgage defaults and rent abatement. I can't remember what they call them, the rent one, but eviction freezes. Yeah, I think we see more of a Republican presence out of California this time around. The Dems in that state just keep digging that hole. It's not getting better. It's getting a hell of a lot worse. So we'll see. We'll see. I know typically the northern part of California is a little bit more Republican, but I think for the folks down south, times for a change. So one of the things that you need to note here, though, guys, is when we're looking at this, you can adjust this to a better grade of pull. So you can just eliminate the pulls that are not so fantastic and get a clear picture of what's going on. Now, what's interesting here is, so when you take polls out of Pennsylvania, which is traditionally a Democrat state, Biden is up by 9 or 10. You head down to Texas and North Carolina, Trump is winning. You head up to New Hampshire, Biden is winning. To be clear, guys, when we went into the election last year against Hillary, it was 72 to 28 for Hillary, for the Clinton administration. She was up by that much. This is not that. This is Biden 60, Trump 40. That's not going to be enough on days of the poll. Biden has to really get moving and pumping these numbers up, because if the left base thinks that he's only winning by 10, this is not good for him. This is really, really bad. And then to the south, Texas is never going to go Democrat. It's just never going to happen. Oh, what state? Oh, you're from Cali. For every young person who is blue, if that's true, I don't even know that to be true. Actually, Texas raises pretty Republican kiddos, but in the event that I would say they're progressive Republican, but they're still Republican. But with that, you also have legal immigrants in Texas that are very, very right leaning. Large segments of the Latino vote go right, largely on ethical religious reasons. The Democrats' stance on abortion as well as illegal immigration has a whole lot of repercussions for those that immigrated here and are immigrated legally and are devout to their faith. They have a really hard time voting for the Democrat Party, and there's a bunch of them. That's Florida, that's Texas, that's New Mexico, that's California. All right, I think we spent enough time on politics and debate, though. Yeah, what I'm saying is that the number of legal immigrants outnumbers the amount of young people in Texas going blue. I think Trump going after Biden's son is legitimate. He's a grown adult. He made a decision. Biden has made several statements from his platform stating that he supports Biden and what happened and he doesn't think that anything's wrong. Now, when I say that, people go, well, that's not fair. That's not okay. I'm going to add the caveat of Trump opened the door to it. That makes Ivanka and Eric and all of his kids, with the exception of the youngest, fair game. That's actually, I think Trump might have made a misstep there because he's got a lot more kids with a lot more history. That's definitely my opinion. Ivanka's pretty solid, but the rest aren't crazy. There's one of them that isn't in the limelight that actually just shuts up and does his job. So Barron's off the table. This guy's off the table. This one doesn't really do much. Ivanka's the daughter that crushes it. This guy is causing a lot more problems than he's solving, and this is the guy that just kind of does what he's supposed to do. He's not big on the press. I mean, down the road, this guy here could be this guy here. He's going to evolve, and as he gets older and he gets more of a seat at the table, he's going to get a mouth like this guy. Yeah, there's two more debates. So there's two more debates coming, guys. I think we're going to move on from the debates for now, though. I think that's a decent enough breakdown that we did on it. We're about an hour and a half in here, so I think that would be sufficient for now on the debates. Here's how the global markets are reacting to the debate. Hong Kong is up, China's down, India's up, London's down, Paris is down, Frankfurt's down. So the global markets are not... Do you think it might be groomed for the office in the future? No. Well, Ivanka, yes. I think Ivanka is I would not be surprised, maybe not in the next election, but in subsequent elections, to see Ivanka make a Republican ticket. I would not be shocked at all. She hits a lot more of the finer points than Trump does. She comes with that business acumen. She's less offensive. She is a female. I mean, these are a big thing. It'll be a big thing. Ivanka has quite the acumen when it comes to business, despite what people think of Donald Trump. Ivanka she's got a wicked head on her shoulders. yeah, it's both sides, and neither side can really think that they are not. They're coming from a place of entitlement, both the Bidens and the Trumps. So, I would not be surprised to see Andrew Yang on the Democrat bill for the next election and him winning. That wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think Yang would get 8 years. I think Yang would get 4, and we would see, I would hope, Ivanka Trump actually taking the ballot after that. I think it would be interesting to have a Yang AOC ballot for the Democrat Party. You think UBI is a realistic policy? I mean, when you look at the stimulus that's been flowing out into these economies, we've essentially been implementing a UBI policy. Do I think it's realistic? We'll see in the long term. I can't argue. I was pleasantly surprised at how quickly the economy shot back on the implementation of UBI through this. And people say, well, stimulus isn't UBI. It's pretty damn close to what UBI would look like. It's the best dry run that we could have got. I know the Canadian economy would have collapsed without it. So I'm up here. I'm a big fan of it. Didn't Yang sell out? No, Yang stepped back. I think Yang recognized that this election could not be won. He didn't want to go up against Trump. He wants to go up against the next one. Yeah, UBI is universal basic income, guys. All right. So today Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday, right? Wednesday? Wednesday. So I will not be here tomorrow, guys. I am speaking at an event in South Africa tomorrow. I won't be here. I'll be doing my digital marketing public speaking thing tomorrow, so you will be missed, but I will be back Friday. As for today, it was supposed to be today. I got the dates mixed up because it's in South Africa. The timing of it is a little bit off. Where what day it is there and time it is there, it'll be here. I'm not actually going to fly to South Africa, guys. I'm gonna stream it from here. But the conference itself is in South Africa that I'm keynoting. So, I think he needed to. But yeah, so here we are, guys. Here's the current performance on the portfolio. We are finally green across the board year to date. 12-month returns, average returns, success rate, they're all up, beating 126,000 investors on the platform. So not bad. And I can go toe to toe. I would really love that 4-star. One of the goals that that I've been crafting out is I would love to break through the 50,000 mark on this. If I could be the top 50,000, I think that's something to write home about. Okay, so Tim Cook got his first grant of shares based on performance. Caesars agrees to acquire William Hill. This must be a push into online betting. Yeah, it is. So Caesars should do well on this news. Fuel cell at 210. So expect fuel cell to go down today. If fuel cell goes down to 210, I will probably look to take a position, guys. Just that market is getting so much hype right now. Fuel cell is a hydrogen fuel cell energy provider for cities and municipalities. Are there any indicators that the market will be red today? The uncertainty from the global market is not good. Typically, that does not bode well for us heading into the day. It is Wednesday, which is traditionally a slower day in the market. So there will be less volume. That can be good. That can be bad. I'm leaning more towards the red. Plug is similar to fuel cell in many ways, but I'm a bigger fan of fuel cell just because they have standing agreements with several major cities in the US and they're proving profitable. So plug is interesting, but for me, fuel cell, if it goes back down to that $2.10 mark on this offering, I would definitely take a look at it at 210. I think it's an $8 stock. So just going through all the headlines from after the market yesterday, see if there's anything that was missed. Okay, so Moderna's vaccine generates strong immune response in older adults. So 56 up. Moderna's vaccine is working really well on. Nicola, did I close a tab there? Yeah, Regeneron. Regeneron is working well in non-hospitalized patients, so that's interesting. Yeah, Palantir was what we started the stream today, breaking that down. Palantir out the gate, I think, is going to do quite well. Somebody was saying that they were looking at starting at $9. If that's true, I will try to get something in there. We don't have a specific time, but if it opens at $9, I will definitely take a piece because it's going to run. There is no guys. They never give us an exact time. It's always ballpark guessing. So I don't listen. I just put the ticker up on my dashboard and I leave it and I hold it there. So I'll find the ticker later today and I'll just watch it. Do we have what? Anybody know the ticker for Palantir? PLTR. I just want to pull it up to see if I can get pre-market on it. Yeah, I've got a halt on it. I don't see a pre-market price on it. Did I see APM? I did not. Aptorum was up 290 yesterday, and then today they've dropped an offering, so they're going to fall. I've got it up 290% yesterday. Pre-market trading, not every platform can do it. Certain platforms will let you in at different times. Oh, at its peak, it was up that. Okay. Yeah, so not every platform can do it. Some platforms open up at different times. I think I can probably get in around 7:30 or 8 using TD. Robinhood, I believe 9 o'clock is the soonest that you can get in trading pre-market. Less likelihood of fills. There's not as much volume, so the market makers aren't really making that happen for you. You can get in, but it can move pretty quick one way or the other against you. And the odds of you getting out, if there's a pre-market move to the against you, there's a high level of risk that you're not getting out in time. So, Hair, I was supposed to be gone. I just got the dates mixed up. It is tomorrow morning when I'm speaking. So I'm here today. I won't be here tomorrow, and then I'll be back Friday. So guys, if you are new to this channel, I do a early morning stream, 4:30 till 7. I then hop off, kind of do some stuff around my house, and then I'll come back for market open at 9:20. And then I'll hang out with you guys for a few hours. Do you ever use technicals? Loosely. I am principally a FA trader, but that doesn't mean that I don't examine TA at all when I'm taking a trade. Say good morning. Yeah, hi. Who's that? Is that JJ? JJ. Yeah. Yeah, American Airlines at 12 if you're willing to hold it for a year and a half is a fantastic price. So I'll show you guys the charts that I use so you have an understanding of kind of how I do my analysis. So once I found a stock, I've done the due diligence on it. I've looked at their finances. I've looked at kind of the news that's coming in around it. Then I head to the charts. So why is this not populating? Come on. Okay, there we go. All right. So here are the charts. Stock guy better get used to this. This is going to be a reality. He will have a baby on his lap while he trades. So on my charts, guys, you've got your typical chart movement. This varies depending on what I want to set it to, but my typical template that I use is a volume indicator. This is volume on whatever the time span I set it to. I use a CCI, so this is a commodity channel index. This is just letting you know the amount of interest really that there is in the market on this. It's not an indication of people it's not an indication of sentiment, just that there are a lot of people looking at it, either buying or selling. MACD guide just gives you a bit of insight into the direction and flow of a stock. Traditionally, what happens is if you see a MACD cross, there would be a decline. So you see a MACD cross here, it comes down on that decline. The problem is it's retroactive. It's not predictive, right? So by the time you see the cross, which is here, you'll see that it's already moved up a bit from that low. But as you see the cross here, if you were to get in, well, now there's the opportunity for this to go up, right? But realize that it goes up, and then the MACD still hasn't crossed here. It still hasn't crossed here. It doesn't cross till about here. So if you're trading just on MACD, you're looking for these crosses and making that happen, right? And then the other thing that I use to pair with the MACD is to watch this. So typically, you'll see the MACD cross here. It's in a decent RSI range, so this means that it's not overbought or oversold. And as the MACD rises, you'll see that the RSI adjusts and it heads up pretty high. once it peaks here, you'll see that the CCI is peaked. You'll see that the RSI is way overbought, and yet it still doesn't taper. It adjusts, even though the MACD still hasn't crossed it. It adjusts, and then it goes back up again, and it adjusts, and then it finally takes a little bit of a down, and then when we cross again here, it goes back up, and then an immediate cross. And this is kind of what you have to be aware of, is that these turns can happen pretty quickly. From here to here, there would have been money to be made, but if you miss that cross, if you weren't paying attention to it, you suffer this drop. Which isn't really suffering, because if you're willing to hold it for long enough, it came back up. But this is kind of what I use. So these technicals are not something that I actively use. This is more of confirmation for the FA that I do. Hopefully that helps you guys understand what I'm doing and what it looks like. All right. I need to give this baby back to mama, and I need to get some H2O. So I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Going to have to start being early. Okay. Level 2s. Yeah, I'm a fan of level 2s as well. Redemption, I don't know if you guys all know him. He's one of the speakers on Stocky's Call. He does work in secondaries and dark pools and stuff, so where did my browser go here? There we go. Yeah, BCLI was looking really promising. The data that we were looking at yesterday on it, it was looking promising. Yeah. I'm trying to recall as best as I can here, but I think yeah, they were looking very promising. So Wednesdays are typically very, very slow, guys. The pod industry is continuing to struggle. So Mnuchin and Pelosi are supposed to speak today on a potential stimulus bill, so that's interesting. I don't know that we're going to see anything happen on that, though. Yeah, the average return's 420 on that. I don't know why. I don't know why it did that to me, but it did. But anyway, I was pretty happy to see that tip ranks had gone green, guys. One of the things that I make a point to do, is make my portfolio available for you guys to see what it is that I am trading. I like that transparency. I like you guys to be able to see my returns. For those that have never seen this before, I didn't start using the tool until May, and when I started using it in May, I entered all of my trades from January to May in 1 month. So like buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, which is why this red candle's here, is because I didn't actually get to put in my entries and exits, so it showed it as a loss. So over the next 4 months here, I've been fighting back from this initial mistake using the tool. But every month since has been accurate as to my trades that I've taken throughout the month, their performance. So you'll see that some months, so June was kind of a sideways month for me. I didn't really do much of anything despite everybody else doing it. The 4 bars that you see, guys, the red one is me. The next one is the S&P, I believe. The next one is the best performing tip ranks portfolios, and the next one is the average tip ranks portfolio. So you'll see July was a good month, made about 10%, beat everybody. The next month, I didn't lose any money, but I didn't beat anybody either. And then this month, the markets are losing big and up 11%. So the nice thing that I really like about tip ranks is it lets you know how you're performing against other investors. Right now, out of 186,000 investors, I'm ranked 64,000, 65,000, I guess. It's pretty close to 65. 65,000. Seeing as it's my first year of active trading, I'll take that. What's sad here is the average return. This is not accurate. On top of tip ranks, guys, I also like to show you my actual portfolio. Anyone can sign up on tip ranks. Are of course staggered levels, so there's like a free introductory level, and then there's a paid level, and then I use the ultimate just because it gives me access to everything. It's a really valuable tool for me. But yeah, definitely amazing tool. I highly recommend it. But what I like to show people as well is my actual portfolio. So we started out this year with 3,000 Canadian, which is about 2,200 US, and currently we are at about 26,000. This varies day by day. It was 27,000 yesterday, but about a 1,200% increase year so far this year to date. How? Patience, a lot of reading. I trade a really volatile sector in biopharma, and really minimizing your losses and picking wins. A lot of wins. Now, have I had losses? Absolutely. I think Malincrot's going to be a loss for me. I'm going to lose a couple $100 on that. I think the rest of these are going to pay out pretty well for me, but Malincrot was definitely a loss. Side-Eye might be a loss. I might take a huge hit on Side-Eye, but it's really just about gauging what you're doing, what you think the potential of the news is. Do you jump on Tesla at all? No, I don't go anywhere near Tesla. It's very rare that you will see a tech stock of any kind in my portfolio. It is not impossible because I do currently have a holding in LPL, which is LG Display. They make the screens for all the Apple products, the Apple Watch, iPad, phones. So for me, this is my play on the upcoming iPhone is LPL. And I have looked at Apple directly as well. I just haven't purchased in it. But that's really it as far as the tech sector goes. I don't typically play a lot of tech. I play a lot more. So space is one that I've got a large holding in. It's my second largest holding. Uh, ACRX is a bio stock. ETM is a fairly large holding. They are in broadcasting advertising. I do that professionally. I'm a digital marketing consultant, so I do that professionally, and that's an area that I seem to have a decent grasp on. Waiter, I guess technically would be in the tech sector, but I don't really qualify it as tech. It's for me, it's a service. Um, Waiters like Uber Eats, for those who haven't heard of it, but yeah, so slow and steady wins the race. I don't do these crazy swing trades or these crazy day trades that a lot of people do, these micro trades of in, out, in, out, in, out. My plays are usually over 6 to 18 months. So this money that you guys are seeing being made in July was actually put in around February. Is your rating better on my performance compared to the public portfolio? It is for me at least. I don't know what the best. I don't know what the average rate or average performance is for. Yeah, I don't know what the average performance is. Space, I'm only playing into the end of the month. Here's the top 25 individual investors. There are some serious big swingers here. But my numbers are not terrible. I just have to get my average return up. If I can get my average return up, which ACRX and Space should help me do, if I can raise my average return to this around this mark, this 50-60% mark, I'm going to be doing really, really well. 94% success rate. Yeah, so my average return right now is just too low. That's the problem. The success rate isn't bad, but the average return is too low. I've got to get that up if I want to be one of these top guys here. But if I go to the analyst, yeah, ACRX is the big one. That's going to make a huge difference. Space will help. Rolling that money into Waiter will help. ACRX is going to help in a big way. If I look at the healthcare sector, though, guys, this is kind of the ballpark that I'm playing with. So you'll see that like number 3 ranked is 53% and a 16% return. I'm not that far off of that, right? Even if I head down here, 47, 110, 51, 11. So like I am not far off of this. Competing with the top 25 healthcare traders on this platform. 42% success rate, 13.8 return. How's the success rate calculated? Success is based off of, I think for those analysts, they do, they don't necessarily need to share their portfolio as much as they need to share their articles that they put out, their press releases, set their PT. For me, when I manage my portfolio, you'll actually go in here, I'll go to my holdings. I'll pick one of the ones that I'm currently in, let's say Waiter. I would go over here and I could close this. You see this X? So when I sell this out, I would hit X and it will exit the position and then it will evaluate based off of my entry that I've got entered here. and say, okay, did you succeed? Now you could game the system for sure, guys. I could come in here and I could say I had all these shares and I got them at $1 and then exit it and it would say, damn, look at what he did. That was amazing. But the reality is, for me, I've tried to be as transparent as possible with this. I do also have my trading dashboard to verify what it is that I'm putting out there. Okay, so I'm not fluffing this. I want it to be real, and I think one of the big things that is real on this is you can, when you put you don't have to put your profile public. You choose to do that if you want, but when you go to recent activity, you'll see that I have losses scattered into, right? I've got losses scattered in among the gains. ACST, I think, was my biggest percentage loss at 64%. It just dropped. It could have gone the other way. It could have gone 10x, so I was willing to take that risk. It is Wednesday, though, guys. I am not seeing a ton of news here. There's not much more for me to break down here. I could hop on Twitter and break that down. It's an average on the site. So if I was to type in ACRX, my price target right now is closer to $10. Their high is 7. CCXX, never heard of them. All they do is mergers and acquisitions, though. I don't know that that's outside their wheelhouse. Yeah, I mean, it's a SPAC play. Major pre-market movers. Let's see what we've got. Stocks, pre-market. What was the website you showed last time? Oh, the biostocks, the biofarm calendar, biofarm catalyst. Go here. That's it. But yeah, if you're on tip ranks, guys, the price targets typically come from the average price target. That's what they're basing it off of. Right now, you'll see that there's a bit of a variance. I really wish this Credit Suisse guy would reevaluate or remove his analysis on this. He reiterated this a month ago, and I really this guy irks me. How Logitech? Oh yeah, the split would do that for sure. I think you could go in and adjust your DCA though, because on your dashboard it will say that your cost, your average cost, is actually significantly lower, right? Not higher as a result of the split. Can you check anything about how Logitech is doing? Okay, so what I'm looking at here is the major pre-market movers. So CTIB, China Hustle, Shoreline, China Hustle, Celos Therapy. Cielos just keeps popping up, man. This is one that I identified back in May. Pre-market on Logitech. It's down pre-market. Not a lot, but it's down. All right, let's see here. Sealed. Yeah, Seal doesn't have anything coming up. Cielos Therapeutics. So I mean, they've got 2 phase 2 drugs. I'm gonna wait, I think, for Seals to hit phase 3 before I enter in on it. But its Parkinson's disease stuff is very, very interesting. I would hold off on it though for now. What? I was gonna look at something else. What was it? BCLI. Yeah, BCLI guys was on their upcoming pipeline. They've got a phase 3 top line data due end of November. So this would be a play that I actually look to enter closer to October. I'm wary about this one though. I would have to do a lot more deep diving into the medication, what it actually is and what it does. I think there are a lot better plays out there. Like Waiter right now is really attractively priced. Waiter sub 350 is good money heading into their next earnings, which are on. Oh, that's what I want to check. Windows. Um. So Nicola's date of doom is December 8th. 3rd? 3rd. December 3rd. So if I go to Nicola options right now and take a look at puts. December 18th. $5 put. 77 cents. Excuse me. Why $5? Because that's where I see it going. The company doesn't have anything. They don't have any trucks. They don't have any property. They don't have any revenue. They don't have a backer. The market, if GM pulls out, the market is going to run. It may be dead, but only mostly dead. I think that there's milk to be squeezed. Now, the 1750s are pretty expensive. I probably wouldn't play this, but there's definitely a short ability on this. Even now. Yeah, that's it. GM pulling out would be it. $10 puts should be money. Should be money. Depending on his strike, or depending on his expiry. Again, I just think I would stay out of it. I don't think I'm gonna play it. There are other ones that I'm fairly confident on that I would take. So, yeah, my price target is delisting as well. I'd be more prone to take a waiter call than I would a nickel put at this point. So waiter's next earnings are November 6th. So if I'm looking at I guess it would be November 20th I would take. $4 theoretical is 59. That's not bad. That's pretty cheap. I mean, I could even take the threes at 91 and that wouldn't be bad. But I mean, at 59, heading into November, knowing that we're seeing a resurgence in COVID, if I go to waiter on the big sheet for the past year, so it spiked up over 5 on its last earnings. So I think that this is not an unreasonable thing. Do you ever exercise the contracts? No. Nope. No, if I want to play equity, I play equity. If I want to play options, I play options. I don't muddle the two. Augerman, welcome to this chat and enjoy your time out, buddy. I don't know that you're reading the room here, to be honest, my dude. Do I really look like a guy that cares about massive views? I'd be doing this stuff anyway, guys. I just like hanging out with some folks while I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I definitely don't want your spam view BS nonsense. Thanks for that. Later. You're welcome to stick around if you actually want to talk stocks and how to make some real money instead of spamming an affiliate link, though. Hell, I could teach you how to spam an affiliate link properly by creating content, but that's not how you do it. That's wrong. Ooh, see? That's how you do it. Timu, subscribed. Loves it. It's not a stupid question. There aren't stupid questions. When people are trying to learn, guys, it's not. I know you feel stupid when you ask questions like these, but once you learn it, fine. If you ask the same question again, that's a problem. With options, guys, I'm really not the guy to ask. I know the absolute basics. I know just enough to be dangerous to my attendees. For me, I'm not looking for a break even. For me, I play options the same way I play equity. I set my price target, I set the date that I expect it to move, and that's really it. I greatly appreciate that, Timu. I'm loving seeing more and more stars in here, guys. We are almost exclusively stars, which is important to me. It means that I'm bringing value to you guys, and that's exactly why we're here. So I don't look at break even value. For me, I go, okay, what is the play? For me, I think Waiter is going to beat on earnings. When is their earnings? November 6th. The next possible monthly is the November monthly, so I play the monthly. I look at the current strike and the price. For me to take those November 20th $4 strikes at 60 cents, I think that is quite reasonable. I may even look at taking the strike that's already in the money. Do I have a dividend portfolio? No. So this was year one was growth portfolio, right? A dividend portfolio is more of an income portfolio. So what I'm looking to do is build a long-term hold dividend portfolio for sure. But I'll use that after I've accumulated over the year a sizable growth portfolio. So what I'm looking to do is take that that initial $3,000 Canadian investment, roll that into as much as I possibly can, and then lock 25% of that away inside of a dividend portfolio. Now, how much money that is, who's to say? Right now, given where space is, I've got $7,000 in space at 1760. If the stock goes to 35, I will have doubled that, which would make me like $4,000. No, that's not right. That's not right. My math is wrong. This is why I use calculators, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I use calculators. Stock calculators. Okay, number of shares, 400. Purchase price was 1761. Yeah, for me, it's going to be both. Eventually, I will have a dividend portfolio rolling as well. So let's say that this goes to 35 like I thought. My buy commission is $5. My sell is, they're both 6. Currency is the dollar. Calculate. Yeah, so I'll make about $7,000 on this play. Yeah, I mean, one of the big things for me was to show people that this is something that everybody is capable of doing. It's not like I stopped working, right? Like I work a full-time job. I'm a father of 8. I'm a husband. Like there's a lot of things that I have time commitments to. I have a professional speaking career. I'm a YouTuber. Like there's all kinds of stuff. So if I have the time to trade and grow a portfolio like this, I think others do as well. I think that the misconception that this takes an immense amount of time isn't real. Now you can definitely get sucked into it and dedicate more time to it than that, but I think it is possible if you know what you're trading and how you're trading it, and you've got your style down, and you're not day trading or retail trading. I think you're gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be fine. And the opportunity to make that money is there. So this isn't bad. To see a $7,000 increase, almost 100% increase on investment, I'd be okay with that. 35 would be all right. I have tried day trades. I have taken some scalps. If Palantir comes in at $9, I may actually look at taking as many shares as I possibly can on it. So Palantir looks to have a 725 price point. Yeah, it's net gain. Oh, you can't see. Sorry. Yeah, so I did place an order for Palantir just now. It's a day order. It'll sit there. When stock goes active, it will be there. Palantir is being listed at 725. I've placed my buy order significantly higher than that. Isn't that getting refreshed each year? Yes. However, one of the things, and you have to, again, not a financial advisor, guys. You need to check on this. Know your own state, federal laws, taxation. You have to figure that out. But my understanding is, if you buy a position, so let's say I buy ACRX, right? And my gains for this year are already placing me very close to the next tax bracket. Instead of me selling on December 31st, I could hold to January 1st, and that would roll over. So those profits I wouldn't have to claim on the 2020 year. I could claim it on 2021, and that can be a way that you can, if you're a long hold equity player like I am, you don't necessarily need to cash in all your profits in the year and pay that 50% tax on it. All right, guys, it is 7 a.m. I am done. I will be back at 9:20 to open the market with you guys, watch what's happening, and see what we are doing. But it has been a blast. If you are back again tomorrow morning, fantastic. If you're not following or subscribing wherever you are, please do so. I look forward to seeing you guys later in the day. Have an amazing morning. Go get some coffee.